Hey guys, welcome back to New York Sports MC. Just wanted to start off by saying thank you to all my subscribers as we just hit 100 subscribers this morning. So I'm very happy about that. I haven't been doing this for very long. To see the support that you guys have given me, I really appreciate it. Love you guys commenting in the comments on all my videos. That's really what I do for, man. I love interacting with you guys. So keep on commenting. I love the little back and forth that we'll have in the comment sections is great. You guys help me think of other ideas as well, or other avenues in which they can go. So just keep that up. So we're going to go into the offensive rankings today and my preview before the draft on where the offense stands, what I think Joe Douglas can continue to do through the draft, or maybe even a few little free agency signings. So let's get into the rankings from last year. And last year, obviously, we know was not a very good year for the offense. We brought in Adam Gase, who is supposed to be an offensive guru, to help this offense, and it did not work, at least not last year. So if you look at points per game, we ranked 31st in the league. Yards per game, we were dead last, 32nd. Rushing yards per game, we were 31st. Passing yards per game, we were 29th. Sack percentage. Percent of the time your quarterback gets sacked when he drops back, we were the third highest, which should not surprise us. Sam Darnold was running for his life most of the season when he was actually playing. Our offensive line was horrendous. We knew that coming into this year, that was a big need for this team, and Joe Douglas wanted to address that, and he started to in free agency. I also want to look at penalties, because I felt like that was a big thing that hurt this team last year as well. We were fifth in the league when it comes to penalty yards. That's not good. We're losing a lot of yards. A lot of times we'd have big plays that would get called back because of penalties, and it was very, very costly. I wish they would do like a stat where they talk about true penalty yardage. So what I mean by that is, say a holding penalty or is 5-yard penalty, but if you ripped off a 10-yard run or 20-yard pass, it really now makes that a 15 or 25-yard penalty, right? Because we're negating all that positives as well. But I don't think anybody does that stat. Holding, we were 7th in the league. 7th most holding penalty. Really, it was like the 4th or 5th. There was a lot of teams tied ahead of us, but there were 6 teams ahead of us. So I have us as a 7th when it comes to holding. And that was a big problem. Our offensive line was so bad that they had to hold people. And that was the thing. We were 3rd in sacks and holding at an alarming rate. Imagine if they weren't holding those people. Offensive pass interference, we were 2nd in the league. So that's not good either. That's costing us a lot of yards, a lot of potential big plays. So let's go through this team. Let's go through how Joe Douglas looked at this team and how he's looking to improve it. So sack percentage, holding, penalties, those are huge. And that's all offensive line. Right? So that's where Joe spent most of his time. And if you look, he knew this going in. These guys he brought in, low to no penalties, low to no sacks. Right? Greg Van Roten, Connor McGovern, they all have 1-2 sacks or holding penalties the whole year, right? So he's looking to address and fix these numbers, which is what I'm happy that he did, right? So when you look at the offensive line, he brought in George Fant. I honestly believe Fant is not this projected left tackle. I think he's projected to compete at right tackle with Chumadoga. I strongly believe that we are going to draft a left tackle of the future with pick number 11, just hoping one of those top 4 fall to us. If they don't fall to us at 11, I strongly, strongly hope that one of these wide receivers is highly coveted and we can trade back a few spots, pick up an extra mid-round pick, like a 3rd-round pick, and get Jones, the tackle from Houston. I feel like he is a lot closer to the top 4 than most people are projecting him. I like his ability a lot. I have him as a lot higher up than an Austin Jackson, Ezra Cleveland, all these other tackles, right? I think it's a top 4, slight step down to Jones, and then a kind of big jump to the next guys. Not saying that those next guys can't be something special and be starters in this league. I just don't think that they're going to be able to come in and immediately make the impact that we need them to make at that left tackle position. So that's my thing. I hope we get one in the top 4, preferably Thomas. I really hope that people overthink that and he drops to us at 11. But if they're not there, like I said, I would try to trade back a few spots, grab Jones. But left guard, it looks like Lewis is probably going to be the left guard. I would even still look to draft one in the mid-rounds to compete. Connor McGovern's kind of come out and said that he prefers to play center, and I probably want to put him there. I know in one of my videos I said we could potentially move him to the right guard spot, move Van Roten to the left guard spot, and put that rookie center there. But McGovern, he needs to be the leader of this offensive line. I think that's what we brought him in here to be. And if he prefers center, he played very well at center last year. That's where I'm putting him. Right guard, you have Van Roten. And then right tackle, like I said, would be a competition between Fant and Chumadoga. So I think you're going to improve that offensive line there. That should help all these numbers. If we looked at some of the game film from last year, right, we also have to look at these numbers and know that they're skewed. We really need Sam Darnold to play 16 games. And what I really hope they do is address that backup quarterback position. We haven't done that. We brought back one of those young quarterbacks that was no good last year. But the drop-off between Sam Darnold and our backup quarterback cannot be what it was last year. It was horrendous. We were struggling to get 100 yards of offense in those games that he wasn't there. That drastically reduced these numbers as well. I was trying to find a number on our ranking for the second half of the season. Couldn't find a website that did that. I don't think it would have been that great, but I think we would have been a little bit higher up the pack. You take out those 3 games that Sam Darnold didn't play, where, like I said, we had 80, 90 passing yards. Even take out that one really bad New England game when Sam did come back. And you start to see some of these numbers start to look a little better. Like I said, still be bottom half of the league, though. But if you watch the games, first of all, we got to get better at sustaining success, right? We were, for a long stretch of time, scoring touchdowns on our first drive and then not really able to do much after that. I think that comes back to a lot of different things, right? The game plan's got to be better. The in-game adjustments has to be better from Adam Gase and the team, right? But also the line has, and the team as cohesively has to play better. You saw those first few drives. The line blocked well. They came out of the gate and they played strong. There weren't many penalties on those first few drives, right? And that's why, and that's the excitement that I have about Sam Darnold. People are like, well, is he really the true franchise quarterback? I've seen people who want to give up on Sam Darnold, which is not true. It's the worst thing to think of. Sam Darnold's actually younger than Joe Burrow, who's going to be the number 1 overall pick. He could have easily been coming out in this draft. That's how young he is. He chose to come out early because he was so good and projected to go so high. There was no sense in him returning. But so with the improved offensive line, I can see our offense definitely taking steps in the right direction. I think for a period of time, Adam Gase was not calling his full offense either. Definitely when Sam Darnold was not able to play, you can see he drastically dialed back his play calling and went with a lot more conservative plays. Even when he came back, I think they were trying to protect him, trying to protect Sam. They knew this offensive line was no good. They knew he's wearing a flak jacket that weighed, what did they say, 15 pounds or something like that, to protect him, to make sure that he was okay. So I think that he was very reserved in what he was doing. He tried to open it up down the stretch a little bit, but this year you can see a lot more RPOs. I think you're going to see them open the playbook. Plus, Gase and Darnold now have better understanding of each other. Going into year 2, they know what each other like and what they like to do in certain situations. There should be no limitations on Darnold, being a year removed from the model now. So the offensive line, I think, is going to be improved, especially if you can get one of those top 4 left tackles to come in and solidify that spot. Running back position, obviously Le'Veon Bell is back. I think Le'Veon Bell took a lot more heat than he should have last year. The fact that he averaged positive yards last year was a miracle. He was dodging people from the moment he took the handoff from Sam Darnold. So I think with this improved offensive line, you'll see that Pro Bowl caliber players start to come back a little bit more. We do have to bring in a backup for him. Montgomery was a free agent. Powell's a free agent. I wouldn't mind bringing back either, if not both of them. The wide receiver position, we swapped in Robbie for Brashad Perriman. I don't think that's as much of a downgrade as some people have made it out to seem. Sometimes these wide receivers take a little bit time to develop. Perriman was devastated by injuries his first few years, fell out of favor, bounced around a little bit, had an opportunity to thrive in a pass-happy offense after Mike Evans went down last year and succeeded. So I like what I've heard from Perriman. So this is an area where we definitely need to make some headway, though. I think we double down in this draft. If we go in the second round, I can see us go second and fourth round. If we don't pick one in the second round, I can see us doubling down in the third round with both third-round picks. Just hopefully it's a lot more successful than when we did the whole Chad Hansen or Darius Stewart. But I have a lot more faith in Joe Douglas and this regime to be able to identify those people in the mid-rounds. So wide receiver needs some work. Tight end spot's going to be pretty good. I think we did all right at the tight end spot last year. Griffin was a pleasant surprise from the Houston Texans when he got released. And now you're going to have Griffin. You're pairing with Herndon, who I'm very high on Herndon. And even Brown. Brown showed a little bit in the passing game last year. We also have, why can't I think of his name? The guy we drafted last year. It's not coming to me right this second. But he's a very, out of all of them, he's probably one of the most well-rounded of them. He's more of the blocking tight end. And then he showed a little ability in the pass. I think the pass game will kind of develop. But I'm optimistic about this offense. I know a lot of people don't want Gase. They want him fired. I'm not sticking up for Gase here. I'm not trying to be like, hey, guys, Gase is my guy, because he's not. What I'm saying is this year is a big year for him and this whole team. I want to give him a pass on last year because I want to look at it as not Gase, right? Let's just say any head coach, whoever you wanted to be the head coach last year, right? If you wanted it to be Matt Rule, if you wanted it to be McCarthy, how do you think they would have performed last year? With everything that went on with this team, Sam Darnold going down with mono, the whole offensive line. I think we started 8 or 10 different offensive line combinations. We only played 16 games. That's ridiculous. You need cohesion in that offensive line. We were picking people up off the scrap heap. We had wide receivers playing I never even heard of, right? So we have to give them the benefit of the doubt. I don't think anybody would have succeeded last year with the talent that we had. So that's my thoughts on the offense. Still a lot of work to be done. I think that out of our 8 draft picks, six of them will probably be on the offensive side of the ball. I think 5 or 6, I'll put it that way. 5 or 6, because I think we go with a corner, an edge, and possibly a kicker with one of our 6th-round picks. Other than that, everything needs to be on the offensive line and wide receiver. Double down on those positions. The more swings we take, the better chance we have of hitting a home run. So that's my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like I said, I appreciate all you guys who subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Click the bell. I will be coming out with a mock draft pretty soon, as I want to do a few before the draft comes in a few weeks. And